Well, welcome to ShortView Trading. It's your morning market hit for Friday, 24th of July. What matters today for traders? Well, it was another fascinating day of price action in the States as markets continued their process of topping out in the short term on that 1 to 2 week basis. In many ways, it started with tech leading the charge back on 13th of July. You'll remember we talked about that key day reversal occurring in the tech indices. Since then, tech, of course, has been consolidating, moving back through its uptrend channel from the top of the range, and it's halfway back largely towards the bottom end of that uptrend channel, as you see in the chart in front of you now. But of course, following that and following the leadership of tech, we've seen other key indices like the S&P 500 clearly topping out in recent trading sessions. And as we've been articulating to you, the models have been on sell, risk appetite has been high, there's been a lack of downside put protection and high breadth readings, which have all contributed to that topping out process and that lack of buying power to push on through from those recent highs. So of course, yesterday's afternoon's price action was fascinating. US equity indices very weak in the last half of the session, closing down, and of course tech the weakest amongst the major indices. And indeed, you can see that topping out process if you look at the GIP charts that we're putting up in front of you now. So for example, the S&P 500 has been topping out the last few trading sessions and indeed is now broadly flat since 13th of July as well. The DAX has got a similar pattern to what you see in the S&P 500. Having spiked up a couple of days ago, it's given that back and now is broadly flat over recent trading sessions. And indeed, over in Asia, it's a similar sort of situation. You could look at the Nikkei that we're showing you now, or the Kospi, two key cyclical indices, both of which have really traded sideways for a bunch of trading sessions now. So the models have been efficacious. They've been giving good signals on the sell side. The market's starting to behave in a much more normal risk appetite type fashion as we bounce very hard out of the March 23rd lows for a couple of months. The short-term signals were overwhelmed on the sell side, as you will have noticed in these daily videos and these daily charts. That's a market that was very much aggressively seeking out risk. That's not the normal state of affairs. Of course, it often occurs after deep sell-offs, but now we seem to be reverting to a much more normal market where greed and fear in the short term is dominant and determines the ebbs and flows of the equity market. So with the risk appetite models going back to sell a bunch of days ago, the back end of last week, we've seen that topping out process playing out. And from here, of course, risk reward favors playing the short side. So to see how we're playing this, please see today's daily rag available to subscribers and on the website. So what are we watching today? Well, we continue to watch the price action in tech as it moves towards the lower end of that channel to see how that plays out. It's interesting to look at the earnings releases and how the companies respond in light of those earnings releases. Intel down sharply yesterday, Microsoft off on the back of its earnings the day before. So we're watching all the interplay of earnings and price action. Earnings are a bit lighter today. You've got American Express, but not too many other key stocks. But of course, that'll get back going heavily again next week. Added to that in terms of key macro, US new home sales will be interesting, but flash PMIs is probably the key feature across Europe and the US over the course of today. That'll be something we're watching closely. So that's it from us. That's your morning market hit for Friday, 24th of July. Thank you for listening. Please do subscribe on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook and or Twitter. Simply search under ShortView Trading. Thank you for listening. Stay safe, trade well.